In the past like year or two, I found myself embarking on like a little self-improvement journey, you know. I've kind of grown apart from certain people, certain things, certain ideas, and I've kind of floated towards something else. What I'm trying to say is, I think I'm, but I don't really think I have an exact word to put to this. I don't want to say sin necessarily, because I don't think that captures the entire essence of it. But what I'm trying to say is more of the idea that is held in the world, you know, like, or maybe the mindset that kind of itches your human desires. It makes you want everything right now, instantly, just now. It's all a real instant self-centered mindset, and only really thinks of how can I uplift myself? How can I satisfy myself? How can I make myself the one that's on top? And me personally, I don't know if I really knew that I was caught up in it. I just kind of thought it was the way life was, you know? And it kind of puts a veil on my eyes. And whether I was called out of that lifestyle or I chose to leave that lifestyle, I'm not really sure about that. But when I was taken out of that lifestyle and I kind of noticed there was a veil in my eyes and I chose to uncover that veil, and I looked back at the muck that I just came out of, it kind of just exposed to me what it was and made it look so less satisfactory. And I think at the end of the day, that's all any of us are looking for, satisfaction. And don't get me wrong, being satisfied and seeking satisfaction is not a bad thing at all. It's more of the means by which you seek that satisfaction, or the means by which you reach satisfaction. But why do we want to be satisfied? Like, what is missing in each of us that we go out into the world, either knowingly or unknowingly, searching for this level of satisfaction? As human beings, and especially in this Western world we find ourselves in, we want everything right now, right? Especially being on social media and being exposed to that for what is mostly all of our lives, depending on how old you are. We want everything right now, so instantly, so without wait. We have things like instant coffee, fast food, instant popcorn, and everything in our culture is so now. There's no like real weight to it. And when you start to notice and understand that, you can start to look through the lens that our culture has built and understand why we ourselves also go the instant route when we seek satisfaction. For me personally, it was sex, money, alcohol, weed, all those things that people usually float towards, you know? I was looking for satisfaction in all those things. I was looking for God in all those things. I wanted to feel close to someone, right? I wanted to feel understood and heard and loved, so I would have sex. Or I wanted to take my mind to an intellectual level where it hadn't been before, right? Experience this like out of body moment, so I would smoke. I had feelings that I didn't necessarily enjoy, right? Whether I was sad or mad or frustrated or wherever it was, right? And I couldn't turn off those emotions immediately, right? So I would just distract myself and try to take a pause on life. So I drank. And I felt like I had a million issues to solve, right? I had to pay for tuition, pay for this, pay for that, yada, yada, yada. I wasn't scamming. That's not what it was for me. But I did chase the bag, like intentionally chase the bag. And I was trying to solve all of my problems by my own strength, satisfy myself by my own strength. And these might not be the same exact reason that you partook in these activities, but I promise you that whatever reason it was, you were looking for satisfaction. So you would go to the world over and over and over and over again and never be fully satisfied. Or at least you wouldn't be satisfied long term. So you would have to keep going back and going back and going back and going back. Because as humans, we want everything right now, right? But if we got everything right now and instantly whenever we wanted to, wouldn't the value of those things diminish? Let's say there's two farmers, right? Farmer one wants apples, so he decides he's gonna plant an apple tree. He gets the apple seeds, he finds a spot, digs out a hole, and he plants the seeds. And he waters that joint, right? Gives it the perfect amount of sunlight, and then it sprouts. But he keeps on taking care of it. He keeps on watering it, he keeps on pruning the weeds, keeps on taking care of his tree. He educates himself on how to grow an apple tree properly. He keeps on pruning the weeds, keeps on taking care of the tree, and he keeps on watering it. And after 2 whole years, now he has the first fruit of his apple tree. That farmer picks that first apple, bites that joint right, it's delicious. And he gets to taste the work that he put in continually 2 years prior. And now he has a tree that will possibly last him for generations. Now farmer 2 also wants some apples, but he's not trying to spend 2 whole years growing an apple tree. Who has time for that? So what he does, he goes to the store, buys some apples, eats the apple, and throws the coin in the trash. Now, no analogy is perfect, and I think you see where I'm trying to go with this, but what I'm really trying to say right now is things that are worthwhile will require work. That was kind of like a tongue twister for me, but I got it on the 9th try. Now, most, if not all of you watching this right now are in college. So basically, you want your degree, right? So you chose to put in 4 years of work for a piece of paper, but it's not the paper that you're looking for, it's the value that the paper holds. This paper says, I'm an expert in this field and I hold value. But how much value would your degree have if you got it in 4 weeks rather than 4 years? It's the same for me when I was searching for things like peace or love or fulfillment or whatever it was. All those things require work, like serious work. And when you turn to the instant things to find them, you never truly will. And even if you do find them, you never really understand the value of them because you never had to put in any actual work to find them. Because how much value do instant things really hold if you can access them so lazily? For me personally, all laziness has ever done was led me to either missing the mark or not realize that I'm searching for something to begin with. And when I saw that, I started to reorient my steps. Now, that's not me saying that I wouldn't still fall to these sins from time to time, although that's not an excuse, but I would only really find myself falling to these sins over and over again when I would forget how valueless they were. Then after the fact, I'd have some like epiphany, be like, yo, like, what am I doing here? And then just get away from it, right? And the only way that I found myself not constantly forgetting how much value the world lacked was by constantly reinforcing the knowledge that I had discovered. And that is when I lost my taste for it. Because just as the taste for the world is acquired, so is the taste for something different. And now that I had that knowledge of where to find true satisfaction, I also had the obligation to go to that place whenever I was looking for love or satisfaction or purpose or whatever it is that we look for as human beings. And let those times that you truly do forget serve as a reminder of how false the world can be. It's all just a counterfeit for God, and the counterfeit can never fill the place of the real thing.